Everybody, Jeff here. Yeah, smack dab right in the light coming through the window here, and I can't change the position. So I start moving around. It's going to drive you nuts and drive me nuts trying to figure out. So I'll just kind of keep my eyes half closed and deal with it, right? So, um, can't change that. That's the way it is. Okay, right? So, yeah. So yesterday, some more things about the testing of the guitars yesterday at the music shop after a couple of years not playing and testing the V class and well, it's not just the V class guitars because we're going to get into some other guitars here too. So I already talked about the 614 CE. I already talked about the 317, and now I'm going to talk the Grand Theater. Now this was the Grand Theater Urban Ash. I'm pretty sure this is the Urban Ash because but I can't remember I wasn't looking at the woods really. I just kind of afterwards I looked at saw the labels on it, but I wasn't trying to actually look at all the woods. Um, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's Urban Ash because this is what came out. So, the Grand Theater came out during the beginning of the COVID area, right? So it came out in 2020 in January, or actually between January and April sometime, because it was kind of a quick, hey, how would you deal with this? How do you deal with this? Well, actually, no, it came out after that because it came out, I think, after that period because COVID hit us in like March, right? February and March. So it actually came out. So it came out later in the year. Um, so that's a way to kind of combat against COVID, right? The details of the year and what actually month of the year is really no big deal, right? It just came out in the 2020 range, right? Um, and actually the AD2, maybe the Grand Theater came out too. I'd have to double check all the historical things about that, but it's like no big deal. The Grand Theater has not been around for 10 years. It's only come out in the past 2 years, right? Um, and that was the whole thing with the kick in the Urban Ash and how to deal with that. New wood. Uh, the, so the Grand Theater is basically it's the all solid version of the GS Mini, right? But it's not a GS Mini. It's not taking the GS Mini wasn't a GS. It was the Grand Symphony size reduced down in a short scale down to a GS Mini. That's what I call it, the Mini, which is bigger than the Baby Tailor. And I've had the Baby Tailor and GS Mini, so I know those pretty well. But it's taking the GS Mini was this Grand Symphony short scale, all smaller, just smaller guitar, a miniature size GS. Um, but then the GT was a new guitar size, which was rather than taking the GS Mini, which Andy Power said he already tried to do, and just make it all solid, which didn't make it sound any better. It just sounded different. But he said he wanted to make it so it sounded better, right? So he actually took the he made a new body size out of it. Okay, which still is all curvy. Okay, it still looks like an hourglass. It's just a different kind of size of hourglass, right? And all that. So that whole thing was playing that was different. Now I had been playing. I said I was playing against these other guitars, so I was playing against a few full size guitars, and then I get to the GT, the Grand Theater here. Um, and what I got to say about that? And I was playing the capo on it, playing. So again, the songs I'm playing, kind of playing around with this is, Africa by Toto, Hold the Line by Toto, Don't Stop Believing by a Journey, Pretty Woman, La Bamba, by I can't remember who, Annie's Song, John Denver, uh, what is it? Was it Cranberry or Radiohead? I can't remember. Whether the song is Zombie. I can't remember which of the two groups that one from comes. I'm sorry, but I can't remember some of these things. Um, I usually just memorize the name of the song and not who the artist is. I worried about that when I have to actually put that into a piece of paper and say, hey, who I'm actually playing for, or playing the covers of. Because I play Creep too. I think Creep is Radiohead, so it's got to be Cranberries for the other one, right? But I didn't play Creep yesterday. The So the Grand Theater, it was. I actually put it side by side against the GS Mini. I did not play the GS Mini there, but I put it side by side and just that longer. I mean, it's just really not that longer. It's the neck. It's just slightly a bit longer. Um, and it looked really. I did not see the case, and this is the one that comes to the hard soft case. What do you want to call this, right? The really thick the really thick soft case, right? The indestructible soft case. That's probably worth buying the guitar just for that, right? Um, But it still felt like a small guitar. Okay, I'm gonna say I still felt like a small guitar. I'm trying to get this lighting right, but I'm sorry, but this is just kind of a pain. But I'm trying to get this lighting right so that you don't look like I'm half and half, right? Um, so the the feel of the guitar, okay, the fingers, I could feel it was shorter, a little bit shorter. Didn't feel like a baby Taylor because a baby Taylor you just feel already cramped, right? But hey, when you play a baby Taylor, you know baby Taylor, you know what you're getting into, right? First, you're playing that to go, taking up to. I've taken baby Taylor up to like the mountaintops, up in the 4,000 meter mountain on a long ski lift stuff. Yeah, I take that up there because it's light, right? So you can take it up there. And I had a backpacker too, a Martin backpacker, never even small. I could actually carry it up on my back, right? So that's why I take those guitars around to things like that. But the GT, um, it's still small. It's still a travel size guitar. It's an all solid travel guitar, right? That was the thing. And it still feels like a small guitar, right? You can still hear in the playing. You can feel in the playing that's just it's a slightly different scale size. You can feel it. You're kind of slightly cramped. Okay, it's just really a little bit, not like I said the Baby Taylor. Um, so when I'm playing these songs, and I'm playing Africa and stuff, and I'm going to A, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, then A, and then G, and then B minor, and then flipping around, doing that stuff, bar chords, and all that stuff. I could feel that it was just slightly smaller because I'm kind of to cramp my fingers a little bit, right? Um, or as I learned these on the 614, right? The standard 614, so on that song 2 weeks ago. Then we then it just I do a lot of strumming stuff, and there's a lot of finger picking too, and it I didn't feel the difference actually in the finger style playing. Okay, I felt it more on the fretting hand. The it sounded a little bit like a sounded still about a travel size guitar, but hey, it's a travel size guitar, right? It's the kind of thing that you can want to take if you want to take it and take it to a concert. You can take it to a concert and be happy with it, right? Yeah, I think I'd be happy with it. I think I'd be happy with not taking this. And I travel a lot on bus, train. I do more concerts going to concerts by train and subway and bus than I actually do by car. Okay, so this kind of guitar is like I would take this. That's why I bought a mini Maton. I traded my GS Mini in for a mini Maton because it's a smaller guitar and I can travel it. So if I could trade my mini Maton for a Taylor or a GT, I would do it immediately. They're worth about the same amount of money, right? So if I can get somebody that wants the mini Maton electronics, and I can get they get the GTF or the ES2, I would do it in just no thought, no second thought. Okay, um, uh, it just was, yeah, it was the right. It's the right kind of. It just, yeah, it's got the Taylor neck on it. You can feel it. It just kind of feels. It's Taylorish, right? It feels Taylor. Um, uh, but again, it's a travel guitar. It's a travel size, and the intonation you can slightly hear it. Now, again, when I'm talking about intonation here, I'm not talking about the intonation's off. Okay, I'm just talking about it has the intonation of a travel guitar, right? Just like the GS Mini is like the GS Mini itself was just a step up from the Baby Taylor, a big step up, and the GT is a slight another big step up, just not step up. It just really, yeah, but it still has that kind of small guitar. The Taylor. It's not until you get into the full size guitars you get in the full size scale. So again, this is all about intonation, right? All about tone. Tone is a really subjective thing, and it's really hard. It's really hard to be very objective about this. I can be objective about it. I can go through all the specs and I'm saying all the specs and stuff, but I'm trying to explain it from a point of view of what it feel like and sound like, right? Um, I played. Let's see, what kind of pick I was using. I was using a capo, a Shuba C1 capo on it, a brand new one. And then I was playing pick. I can't remember what pick on there. Yeah, it was probably something like it could have been a prime tone, something close to prime tone. Dunlap, a prime tone, good pick on it. Um, and then And I was playing thumb pick too, equal tone thumb picks, the blue or the red one. I can't remember which. Okay, they're all kind of pretty close. Um, and and I was doing all kinds of songs. So I think I've already mentioned the ones I was playing at the very beginning, right? So stuff from the 70s, 80s, 90s, right? Plus some stuff from John Legend, the recent, so All of Us and all that. So it just it sounded like it sounds played it up. If I could trade my Mini Maton EMS, I think it's an EMS 6 with the AP5 electronics on for if I could trade it for this GT, the GT with the GT with a GTE with the electronics and these two, just straight change. I'd even pay money. I'd even put money on the table and actually trade it. And I'd be happy. Because the EMS comes with a 12 string case rather than a 6 string case, so it's actually longer than I need. And it just, yeah, it just sounds, it sounds like it's farther from away from a mini guitar, whereas the Mini Maton sounds like a mini guitar, right? Uh, so there's all that thoughts about that guitar. The Urban Ash, yeah, it sounds fine. Sound fine. I didn't like, oh, I hate this wood, right? It just sounded fine. And that was great. That was great. I found another position here that had a light, right? It's way better. Well, way better. I'm getting this, lighting thingy, but I'm in a restaurant. I'm not gonna sit there and bring a whole electric kits and lighting kits here. No way. People are looking at me weird enough as I'm talking and stuff and wearing a Pittsburgh Pirates t-shirt and stuff here in France, right? Um, a skeleton head kind of stuff. It kind of freaks them out. Um, but I'm talking so fast they don't understand anybody. Understanding what I'm saying here, so this is kind of funny. So yeah, so that's the Taylor GT Urban Ash, and sounded great, played great. Um, the only thing I don't like about it, I don't like about it, it's 3 times more expensive than the GS Mini, and we all knew this, right? I knew this. And we've always said, and I've always said the past few years, hey, if you got to build an all solid guitar, hey, it's going to cost more. And it's not like, it's like kids' shoes. Kids' shoes, Nike kids' shoes, they cost more than the actual adult shoes because they're hard to make, right? Well, I mean, I've had a Martin 515 Terz, acoustic only, and I've had a Mini Maton all solid. Okay, so I had the Church, the Martin 515 is an all solid, all mahogany wood guitar, right? And the Mini Maton with its AP5 electronics is all solid, right? And they cost about as much as this guitar costs. So, and I've always been saying, hey, if you make an all solid wood guitar, it's going to cost this much money. That's just what it is. There's just no magical wand to this thing. Okay, that's going to cost as much as cost. That's just the way it is. So we all knew whenever the all solid GS Mini was, if they were going to come out and charge like $50 more. Okay, no way. It's way harder to make, right? And you got to do it, and it's a different body size. It's a return on investment. They put a lot of R&D into this. They got to make money off this thing too, right? So I have no problem with that. It's just that it costs 3 times more. Now I'm not complaining about the price, okay? Because I did buy, like I said, I bought a Martin. I bought a Martin 515 and the Mini Mate. Now I bought them both used, but I got them for the money off. I got them for the used price, which is good. And they did come out with the original price. It's pretty close to what the original price of this one is. Would I buy them new? Would I buy them new? I don't know, but I definitely want to get them because they're travel size guitars, right? This is just the right size guitar. Um, it's but I'm happy with the GS Mini, right? So what I would do, okay, and I'll say what I would do. I had the GS Mini that had the original, a 2010 GS Mini with the ES Go in it. Okay, and I'm not complaining about the ES Go. I used it. It worked. It worked for my needs. I used it for when I had to do the little stuff. And some people knock the ES Go, and so I don't knock it. I just used it. I used it for certain kind of events, certain kinds of needs. It fit my needs. But I was hesitating between taking that GS Mini in the beginning, and when I traded for the Mini Maton. I was tempted to actually put aftermarket electronics in the GS Mini, the Sapele guitar version of it, and then just upgrade to a hard case. But it was there were a few reasons that I didn't do that. Because like the hard cases back then, we didn't get to test them, right? And in France, I live in France, so I can get a hard test. You got to buy it and then find out later if you got to have it ordered, and they pick it up, and then oh, song rise, song size. They didn't actually know the size of the guitar in the music shop. The case I knew more about it than they did. Okay, so that's why I didn't trust them to actually order it and stuff back. When I did this 7 years ago. This is before we had lots of cases out for the GS Mini size, right? So there's actually different brands that have different cases out. We didn't know all this back then, okay? And the aftermarket, I was deciding what I was going to put. Was it going to put a K&K in there? The pure Western Mini, or is it going to put like the Lyric? I can't remember the brand name of this thing is. It shows how far I haven't been playing guitar stuff. I haven't been looking at electronics. But I can put the Lyric in there or whatever. I think it was called. Whatever the competing brand is for the cool electronics aftermarket stuff, all the aftermarket, right? There was one called the Matrix and one called the Lyric. I can't remember the brand name. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. I can't remember it. I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to look it up here while I'm doing the video because I can't do the video. I can't see another window at the same time. That's the way it is. I'm just going off the top of my memory here. That's why I did not. That's why I traded the Mini Maton, because it was easier for me to trade the Mini Maton and get a way better electronics out of it. Yeah, so I did that. But if I could today relive what I did back then, would I choose the GT? I choose a GT straight off with a GTE with the electronics on it, or would I take a GS Mini and upgrade it? I would take the GS Mini and upgrade it for my needs. Because they're mature, fine, and I would just take an upgrade, and actually, I would take an upgrade. I would actually install some other electronics in it, right? And I'd have to figure what electronics I want to put in there, right? I'd probably put a Peterman Acoustics, his little set in there, because I got one of those, and that sounds really cool. And I got a whole series of the tests on that electronics on my website, on my YouTube channel. So yeah, they sound really cool. Just install those on the inside, and that'd be done. So well, there are a couple of things you have to get it to work, actually get it to plug in easily, have the connection going out. That isn't the mini jack, right? But yeah, but I would install some aftermarket electronics in a GS Mini, and be happy with it. And I got a backpack, right? And then I would avoid spending 3 times as much on a guitar that's got the electronics in it. That's my preference. Others, but again, like I said, I wanted to buy the guitar that had the electronics built in when it was 7 years ago. I wanted the easy stuff. And a lot of people want the easy stuff. They want to mess with installing, the K&K Pure Mini, or whatever the JCB is it called, or whatever, or the Lyric or stuff. Some of these things you want to have someone actually install it for you. But whatever. I would probably go the route of installing an GS Mini and just having it. Having a guitar that's a travel guitar that I know is a travel guitar and I want to use it for travel purposes. And not try to fight for having this another in between that's closer to the full size model, and all wood. All solid wood I don't care about. Not for this kind of stuff. Not for when I have a travel guitar. If I want to travel, But I can understand someone wants to play an all travel guitar, all solid one that has used kind of a main guitar for doing gigs. Yeah, I can totally get it. I can go. I totally understand it. It just makes all sense. I wouldn't do it for myself because I got enough guitars to kind of do it, and I don't travel enough on the train and the bus and the plane to actually justify wanting to have another guitar for doing travel stuff. But yeah, it's whatever works out for you. You got to test these guitars, got to play them, folks. That's the way it is, and then just figure out what works for you. Play the songs, do them, and play it. But it just felt really good. Except it's just a slightly smaller scale, slightly smaller. That's the only thing you got to get used to. But that you get used to it in a couple minutes, right, or 30 seconds. You figure out the few bar chords you need to play, and then you just make it happen, right? But great sounding guitar. And I'd buy one. Well, again, I told you what I'd buy. I would do instead, just for my own purposes. But if I get the money, I'm not gonna. If I got the money and not think about it, I'll buy it. Just done. But I've already been doing that enough, so don't need another guitar, right, for this. those are first world problems, right? So, um, but yeah, this is great guitar, great little guitar. If you're looking for a guitar that you want an all solid, you're really convinced you need an all solid, and you want something that's kind of in between size, not too big. Yeah, yeah, it's a great in between guitar. It's just really great for that. But if you're looking for also, if you're looking really an all solid, you're looking for an all solid, slightly larger scale and a regular size guitar. Well, they're out there, and we'll go to those other models, the GP and the AD, at least for the Taylors. The GP and the AD are kind of a good alternative to that. So that's my thoughts about the Grand Theater. And another thing I forgot to mention, the Grand Theater came out with a modified bracing, right? Got to talk about specs here, right? So it came out. It's got the electronics. It's got the ES2 2.2 electronics, maybe a 2.3 version. They keep kind of changing playing with it, tweaking that a little bit, right? That all changed was in 2016 October. Starting 2016 October, they started actually swapping out the preamp from the original ES2 preamp to a EST preamp, ES/T. They start swapping that out for the one that came in the 100 and 2000 series. Those preamps start putting them on, but now they've changed. They might be changing that again, depending on what it is. But so there's the ES2 there, and that's fine. That's really good. If you don't hate the ES, okay, that's it. There are haters of the ES. Okay, whatever. But hey, it's made to be live. You can plug it in and go, and it picks up stuff. The other specs are it's got different bracing. So Andy Powers came up with a different bracing style. He's into he's Mr. Bracing Man. Okay, the whole bracing. If you follow all the bracing styles, start with 2013, the Grand Orchestra. He started an old bracing style. Then he brought the 2014 and another modified bracing style with the 214. Then he applied that same bracing style over to the 900 series for one specific one, and then he came out the 614. And the 614 he changed it again. He kind of tweaked it with the tapered stuff on the back. Okay. And then he had modified bracing on the back for each of the 614, the 600 series. And then, the 814 started with 814, yeah. So, and then he got the 614 and modified it. And he added a torrefied top in the 600 series. And then he came out with that was 215, then 216. He came out with the 500 series, and the 500 series, the advanced performance bracing, right? So advanced performance, the performance bracing rather than advanced performance bracing. All these things have different names, right? They kept changing the names too. Then it came with on the 500 and the 700 series had their own bracing types, kind of the standard performance or the standard something performance bracing, which was a different bracing still on top of it. Then and then it came out the V class bracing, okay, in 2018, 2019. The exact date I'd have to look at. And they came with the Grand Theater. And the Grand Theater had this, I think they called it the C bracing, if I can remember correctly. They always talked about the thing with like a swing board, boom, boom, boom. Okay, and they got they were kind of using that up high, and they were kind of using this. The kind of anecdote was that, right? But the way that was built, you can see it in the back when you look at it. You say, yeah, this is bracing different. Something's different about it. But the sounds pretty good. Sounds great. Again, it all comes down to what do you want? What do you want? How much you want to pay for it? Figure that out. And if you're looking for size, looking for sound, what are you trying to get out of the sound? What kind of songs do you play? You got to just determine what you want, and that's how it is. So, but yeah, it's a great little guitar. So hopefully that kind of give you an idea of it. Makes you want to go test it, and with enough experience, I know other things to talk about, right? So, it's all down to recommendations, right? So I just recommend you play it, right? Get your fingers on it and get your voice with it and hear it. You'll figure out if it's for you. If it feels right, it'll be worth it, okay? So that's the Grand Theater. I think of Urban Ash off the top of my head here.